Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Bird, Nick. Today, well, I'm hitting the easy button, and I'm taking your calls again. We're going to do another Ask the Pulpit. Guys, I've had a weekend. It's been a great weekend. I don't want to make it sound like it's been a bad weekend. I've had a long, but it's been good. I had a very long weekend with my son. We spent 5 days together, and it was great. Don't get me wrong. I'm tired. I'm just very tired. Keeping up with a rambunctious 10-year-old is not the easiest thing to do. Yeah, it's been a good. I'd say probably about 90%. I'd say it's been about a 90% good weekend. Good long weekend. But yeah. But today, he left, and I got a lot of work on my plate, and so I got to work and got ahead, but at the same time, here I am at 10:15 Monday night, sitting down to record and take your phone calls so that I can put this out hopefully in the next hour and 45. Yeah, so it's a busy night, but anyway, let's get into this. So today I wanted to smoke something good. I haven't had a cigar yet today, and I didn't really smoke a whole lot this weekend. So I kind of just wanted to smoke something good today, and something that I could just zone out, enjoy, take your phone calls, just have a good time with. So I went in the humidor, and one cigar was staring at me and just saying, "Smoke me, smoke me." And so I picked out the Henry Clay Warhawk Rebellious Toro, 6x54 Toro. This was a gift from Danny at PCA, and I appreciate it, Danny. It's a limited release, originally put out in 2020 and again in 2024. I'm going to assume this is the 2024 model. Produced by AJ Fernandez in Nicaragua, the second edition of the Rebellious boasts a combination of Nicaraguan binder and filler, deliciously dressed with a Habano seed wrapper to produce a complex, medium-bodied profile with notes of earth, cocoa, and mesquite. And I enjoy this cigar greatly, and it just was one of those, I'm going to treat myself to something good tonight, because it's been a good but very, very exhausting long weekend, and, that 10% that wasn't so great this weekend, well, all I'm going to say there is it is what it is. And nobody can hurt you like family. But we're just going to leave it like that. And we're going to move on. Because you know what? No sense in dwelling. Shit is what shit is. And at the end of the day, it all gets figured out in the wash. So anyway, time to cut the cigar. And the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for over 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. So head on over to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and cut my cigar. Oh, God. I have been looking forward to this because, like I said, it's been a busy weekend, and then today, my Max's mom picked him up, and then I had to go do little errands, because see, that's the thing, sometimes you think to yourself like, oh, just pack the kid in the car, you got to run to Target, go run to Target, you got to go to the bank, this and that and whatever. That's not the easiest thing to do sometimes. When your kiddo just really wants to sit on the couch and play Legos or color or something like that. And so, it can be a bit of a fight at times. And it's just one of those things where I just kind of stacked a whole bunch of stuff up for after he left. And so I've been running and also working on the newspaper, and it's been busy today, but I've been waiting. I've been waiting for the cigar because I haven't had one yet today. I've been waiting for it. And by God, it's that time. It is that time. So now, while I light this guy up, you're going to listen to the greatest commercial you've ever heard.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino Corojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so, they can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars use authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move into the business of the day.
Shall we play a game?
You talking to me? I have a question for you.
You gotta ask me nicely.
Ask me about my winner.
You got a question? You ask the 8-ball.
Come on, sucker. Let's get it on.
Let's get it on indeed. It is time for another Ask the Pulpit. It's where I play your calls with your comments, questions, concerns, criticisms, whatever they happen to be. You can give me a call on the hotline at area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000. Or tofu pie with no E, 0000. And, guys, this is one of those things. Before I get into this, I just want to thank, I don't even know who called. I want to thank everybody who did call. This is one of those days where I have been swamped with stuff. Other things took priority. And before I knew it, it was getting late. But I knew I had to get a show done. And I sat and I thought to myself, what the hell am I going to talk about? And then I looked at the app and I saw that I had, I don't know, somewhere between, I can't tell. It's like 4 or 5 calls. We'll see. And just that alone was a saving grace. Because I'm like, 4 or 5 calls I can make into a show. 1 call I can't make into a show. But 4 or 5 calls I can make into a show. And I appreciate it. I appreciate that you guys took the time to call. I appreciate the fact that you guys called and left the messages, because you have no idea how much it helps. Like, it really does help. Because in moments like this, I know that I can lean on the call hotline and I have something to talk about. You guys are asking a question and I will have something to talk about. It may not be anything I anticipate talking about. It may get weird. But I have something to talk about. And I appreciate you guys calling me and doing this, because it really does. You have no idea how many times you guys have saved my ass with this. So I deeply, deeply appreciate it. So with that said, let's go ahead and get to the first call.
What's up, Nick? I actually think I missed this last to call the pulpit episode.
You did.
Also, I'm on my Bluetooth, which I'm about to take off. I'm doing this as an experiment. I got new Bluetooth. Test it out. All right, hold up 1 second. All right, that probably sounds significantly better. But what's up, dude? I ain't called in a second.
I know.
My job has been absolutely kicking my ass. In fact, I'm over here daydreaming about being the first Tennessee sales rep for Black Stogie Cigar. Sounds like a change of pace. Anyway, what's up? I didn't really have much planned. I'm calling about 45 minutes prior to this Zoom herf that we're doing on May 29th. I'm looking forward to that. I almost had to go play trophy husband for my wife because her company that she works at was having I don't know what it's called. You can rent out decks at this place called Levitt Shell, which is like a place where bands go to play by the Memphis Zoo and over the park in Memphis. Anyway, I was going to go play trophy husband, be on her arm as she was over there saying hi to the bigwigs. But that got canceled due to the weather. So guess what, man? You got me.
Yes.
This whole time. Was fantastic because that event was scheduled literally at 6:30, which, whatever. I would have gone. I would have been on the Zoom hearse for about 30 minutes before it got off. Anyway, I'm going to be there the whole time. I don't really have, I was just calling. I don't have anything useful. I guess I want to leave with, I don't know, fun fact. I guess this isn't a fact, but I want to say it like it's one. The cutest family of mammals in the world is Procyonidae, which is the family that raccoons belong to. But no, I'm not the one that says the raccoons are absolutely adorable. I think they are, but there's 3 of them in South America, dude. They have the greatest names in the world: the Coatimundi, the Olinguitos, and the Cacamissals. And the cutest one of those is the Cacamissal. So yes, there's an adorable little ring-tailed creature in South America called the Cacamissal.
Cacamissal.
Look them up. Anyway, peace out.
All right. It looks like Dakota called one more time, so we'll listen to that real quick, and then we'll address this call. Maybe.
I realize, knowing you, Nick, that you're probably going to want to look up the Cacamissal.
Mm-hmm.
It is spelled Cacomistle, like mistletoe, but with caca in front of it, Caco, missile, Mistle. All right, peace.
It's good to know. Good to know. Because, yeah, I'd have misspelled that, and I could have gotten all kinds of different things if I would have misspelled that. Oh my gosh, I am literally sitting here right now. I just brought up the internet to look up the Cacamissal, and the Knicks are down by 2 with 9 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And it's kind of crazy. I've been following this only because of the whole Danhausen curse thing. For anybody who has no idea what I'm talking about, it's kind of interesting, but it's super ironic. But if the Knicks lose tonight, then I don't know what that means for them. I mean, they're still up 2-0 in the series, but I'd kind of like to see the Knicks pull this off for no other reason than to keep that streak going. Completely unrelated to Dakota's call. But I'm going to leave that open. I'm going to look up the Cacamissal in a different window here. He is kind of cute. Little ringtail kind of critter there. Solitary mammal from Mexico and Central America. I'll tell you, I like the fuzzy critters. When I went on the field trip to Grant's farm with Max, they had a wallaby, and I like wallabies a lot. I thought that would be. I thought they're cute, and I think they would be. I think they'd be an interesting pet. I don't know if I would want one, but I think it would be fun to interact with one, and I think it would be kind of cool to have basically this mini kangaroo just jumping around your house, just kind of doing things. I don't know if they can be litter box trained or outside potty trained, or if they're just dropping wallaby poo wherever they go, because that would kind of suck. You don't want wallaby poo just all over the house. You want to make sure that that's confined, under control. But, shit. Spurs just took one. So they must be fouling and doing some free throws or something like that. 6 seconds left, down by 3. Anyway, I'm giving you a live NBA for a game that's going to be done by the time you guys hear this. Anyway, Wallabies. I like Wallabies and Wombats. Big fan of the Wombat. They are awesome. I love watching them run around, and they got those big asses, and they amuse me greatly. And I would like wombats. I would be down for having a wombat. They make square poop. Their poop is cubed because of their digestive tract somehow or another. It comes out as like a little cube. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't really know much more, but anyway. So yeah, I appreciate the call, Dakota. I think it's kind of funny that this is you're getting dangerously close to the whole like, hey honey, how's your day? I don't really have anything. I'm just calling just to hear your voice. You know, that kind of thing. It's amusing to me, especially considering I was ahead of your wife in the calls there, or in the saved numbers in your phone. So it does kind of have me wondering, maybe she was more onto something than we want to realize. But anyway, I appreciate the call there, buddy. Thank you. All right, moving on. We got another caller here, and bam.
Hey, Nick Boots here from West Virginia. I'm currently listening to the Ask the Boys episode. And I'm starting to realize that I feel like I know you because I hear you forever, and we've talked online. It doesn't really mean anything, and you don't understand my brand. And so, number one, yes, do the lemonade ratings however you like, whatever works best for you. And I do understand that you do like sweeter lemonade. So that is something I'll take into account. Number two, me saying you're disrespecting Kenny, your dad, that was sarcasm. I was making the joke as if they did the episode properly. So my bad for not getting that sarcasm through.
Dude, it's okay.
And I feel like there was something else, but I guess it doesn't matter now.
I don't know.
Nope, never mind. I lost it. Either way, I just want to break that out there. Just want to hey, I always got to remind myself that you don't understand my brand of humor necessarily. I get my jollies from being very dry and making things awkward and people not knowing if I'm joking or not.
Dude, I knew you were
my wife balances me out because she's the one that walks behind me and lets everybody know I was joking after I kind of roll a grenade in the room and walk away. She comes by, lets everybody know it's all right.
I like that.
So you don't have that other side. So all right. Either way, take care. Stay smoky.
I assumed you were joking, Boots. It's okay. Was the other thing the fact that you forgot about Mike Brinker and you had to call back about Brinker? Because that makes it even more awkward now if you forgot about Brinker again. But see, now I'm asking this because I think it's awkward for you, and that just feels funny to me. Anyway, God, I hope it wasn't that, because then it would be really kind of ironic and awkward. But Boots, are you coming to Pulpit Fest? I haven't looked at the list to see who's bought tickets yet. Because I know tickets. We did sell tickets back around Thanksgiving time. There were some tickets sold. I don't know who. I can't remember off the top of my head who purchased tickets. But Boots, if you haven't bought tickets, they will be they'll be going on sale soon. I actually, as I sit here tonight, an hour and a half from Tuesday, I have a planning call with my dad and Ken tomorrow morning, about Pulpit Fest. And so I would anticipate that in the latter half of this month, I'll be making the announcement the tickets will be on sale. So for anybody who is gearing up and getting ready, for Pulpit Fest, coming up at the end of this month is going to be go time. And, and let me tell you, VIPs did sell out technically in November. I might open up a few more, might add just a few more spots. just because I can. Not too many, though, because I got to take into account the dinner and everything else that goes along with that. So, like, realistically, I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. But, general admission also sold 20% of the tickets in November. So, we sold a decent amount of tickets during that Black Friday thing. So realistically, for Pulpit Fest, guys, if you're interested in that, you're going to want to jump on it because I think tickets will go quick. And let me tell you, it's got to be one of the best deals in the cigar industry in terms of an event. Yes, you have the price of travel to get there and hotel. Although I will say, I did hear from one listener who was looking at the European Village on Airbnb, trying to find places to stay, and they said that the European Village was sold out. Well, if you go on Vrbo, the VRBO or whatever, however the hell you pronounce it, Vrbo, there are places listed in the European Village on that. So if you want to stay in the European Village, there are still places there that you can rent and stay there, and they're relatively affordable. I mean, it's better than a hotel, and the nice thing is you're literally right there. You're just upstairs, one of the buildings from Ash and Ale. So I mean, there's no driving involved basically. Yeah, so you got that going for you. Now, anyway, I'll announce Pulpit Fest tickets. And I'll give everybody fair warning as to when they're going to go on sale. But yeah, if you're thinking about coming, you're going to want to jump on that because those tickets are going to go, and I can only open it up to so much. So anyway, it's a good deal. All right, we got another caller here. Thank you for the call, Boots. I appreciate it, and I get your humor. It's okay.
Hey, Nick, Dennis here from
What up,
the
Dennis?
hinterlands of Western Canada.
You've got mail.
Oh, no.
I have a quirky question for you. How long do you think it takes cigar butts to decompose in the wild? I just popped out of my truck here on the trail, and I found a cigar butt from the winter time I must have dropped, and the outer wrapper was white, like snow. But inside, it was still looked pretty tobacco-y. Just curious. I don't know why I wanted to ask that, but it made me think of that. Just finding this butt. Oh, dear. Okay, see you later. Bye. Stay smoky, brother.
Boy, that got kind of panicked at the end, like something happened there. I hope you're okay, Dennis. Boy, how long does a cigar butt take to decompose? That's actually a pretty good question. I don't know the science. I will say that back when I lived at the duplex, sometimes when I had my ashtray, I did not empty it into the bucket. Sometimes I would just toss the ashtray on the lawn, let the ash and the butts kind of just be on the lawn. And they were kind of by the bush, the big bush on the side of the driveway that was rather large and unkept. So like nobody ever messed with that bush. So that's the nice thing is that the butts just stayed there. And what I'll say, Dennis, is some of those butts were there for a very, very long time. What I noticed is that they would plump up in size. So the humidity in the air, rain, whatever kind of elements interacted with them, they did plump up in size. And mine never turned white. But then again, I don't know if they actually got snow on them because they were technically kind of underneath, kind of near a bush that was underneath, kind of partially under a carport. So realistically, I don't know if any of them ever got snowed on. They obviously got rained on. So they did get water. And again, like I said, they plumped up. But like, that's actually a pretty interesting question. And I don't know the answer to that. You would think they're leaves. At some point, they're going to dry out. And over time, they're going to decompose. And they're just going to be whatever. But I guess it's kind of like a compost pile, you know? Like the leaves off your tree, if you were to let them settle onto the ground and not touch them, and let's say there's no wind to, blow them away, if they were stationary for however long, how long would they take? And then along those lines, that's only one leaf. This is a rolled up bunch of leaves, tightly packed. So it might take longer because it's going to obviously decompose. You would think the outer stuff would like dry up and flake away and, go on. And it would work down to the core. So, I don't know. This sounds like some sort of experiment that like somebody that has a lot of time, or at least the ability to set out a cigar and track it. You know who this sounds like a good project for is our nature ranger, Dakota. I think that would be an interesting thing for Dakota to do. It's a science experiment. How long does it take for a cigar butt to decompose? I don't know. It's an interesting question, Dennis. Maybe somebody knows the answer. I don't. But, I think this is, like I said, this sounds like something that, Ranger Dakota could look into. Let me know if you're going to do it, Dakota. If you're going to do it, we need to track this out. We need to journal it. Take pictures, track it out. Maybe do multiple butts. Maybe have a Lancero. Maybe have like a 50 ring gauge, Robusto, 5x50 kind of deal. Have a Lancero, have a Robusto, and maybe have like a Gordo, like a big fat one too. And see, like, does the ring gauge matter on the decomposition? Like, does the Lancero go away before the Gordo does, or does it decompose at roughly the same rate? I don't know. It would be an interesting experiment to try. I'm not going to do it. But it sounds like something that Dakota would be into. And so maybe, Dakota, you can do it. Just saying. There you go. Okie dokie. We got one more call here. Let's listen to this.
Hey, Nick. It's James, the delivery guy from Grass Valley, California.
What up, James?
Really like your talk on the track and trace system and how that might be applied here in America. As you probably know, California has implemented as of January 1st this year a unflavored tobacco registry list, which is up to $1,000 per SKU if you want to sell in the state of California.
Gross.
Talk about cash grab on the part of the state attorney general. Just major interference in the rights of, adult tobacco enthusiasts, as well as a major interference in my enjoyment of premium cigars. Another thing,
and the companies are selling illegal product.
Generational tobacco ban. That is something that me and some of the guys at the Cigar Lounge were talking about. And some of the guys were like, wait, what? They actually do generational tobacco bans? And we talked about New Zealand, Australia, and some of the cities over there in Massachusetts. And
England.
Talk about a major interference in human rights. I think that if you're old enough to be sent off to war, or old enough to be drafted, or old enough to enter into hundreds of thousands of dollars in school debt, you should probably have the right to smoke premium cigars, especially responsibly. especially if you're not going into a bunch of debt to do it. So, what you think, sir? Y'all stay smoky and safe. Talk to you next time.
James. So you're leading into a greater question that I have that I've posed on a number of different topics, not just cigars. And that is my problem with the United States sliding scale of legality. And what I mean by that is when you turn 18, you are now, under the eyes of the law, considered an adult. You can vote. You can join the military. And there are other various little, you can buy porn. Used to be when I turned 18, I had to sign up for the selective or the draft. You know, you gotta as a guy, you gotta put in your draft paperwork. You have to, but I could go and I could buy a lottery ticket, I could buy cigarettes, and I could buy porno. And it was like, well, son of a bitch, I'm an adult. Now, though, it's this, like I said, it's the sliding scale of illegality. So it starts at 16. 16, you are eligible to drive. 18, now you are eligible to vote, buy porn. Although, who the hell buys porno magazine? Do they even make porno magazines anymore? You can buy lottery tickets, because the states are totally fine with trying to sell you the chance of winning money on a lottery ticket. But so I guess at 18 you can vote and you can buy lottery tickets. But now at 21. Used to be, when I was a kid, 21 was when you could drink. Now at 21, you can drink and you smoke. I guess you can buy a firearm at 18 as well. But then you got to wait till 25 to be able to rent a rental car. And so it's like the sliding scale of legality of 9 years, 16 to 25. And it's like, it's bullshit. Just pick a fucking age and go with it. Just pick an age and give all the rights to it and go from there. If you're going to, like, you bring up if I can, and I'll be honest, I've heard so many people, if I can, fight and die for my country, I should be allowed to drink. Yes. There are some phrases that, for whatever reason, when I hear them, they just kind of like rankle me a little bit. And it's just like, and I don't know why. It's just, and it's not that they're incorrect. It's not that there's anything wrong with them. It's just maybe I hear them so much that I just, that's one of the ones that just kind of is like, oh man, it's just bordering on that cliche, but it's not inaccurate. It is accurate. If you are able to be put into military service, sent overseas, and potentially put into a war zone, you should be allowed to have a drink and a smoke if you make it through it. You shouldn't have to be told, oh, I can't. I have to wait 3 more years before I can do that. It's bullshit. And that's not even getting into the fact that there are politicians that want to lower the voting age. They want to lower the voting age. They think 18 is too high. They want to take the voting age to like 16 or even 14, I've heard at one point. Basically, when you get into high school, you can vote. Well, why the fuck would you want that? You want somebody voting to elect somebody who is making the laws that impact all of our lives, but yet at 14, we'll just say 16, because I think 14 is fucking ridiculous. 16, we'll just say 16. You want to give a person voting rights, but they can't join the military. They can't purchase a lottery ticket or a firearm. They can't purchase alcohol. They can't purchase a gun or a cigar, and they can't even rent a rental car, which granted that's whatever, but it's stupid. It's so dumb. It's like we're going to take something super important that people totally just shit on and ignore and don't take as seriously as they should, namely the right to vote and to vote responsibly. We're going to take that and we're going to give that to a fucking kid. Mind you, a kid that the insurance companies charge out the ass for car insurance. Because why? Why are we charged so much when we're 16 years old and just getting our driver's license and getting car insurance for the first time? It's because we're irresponsible. We're dumb and we're irresponsible and we're getting behind the wheel and we're whatever. And so it's stupid to even consider taking that right and giving it to a 16-year-old. I could make a more solid argument that instead of cigars and beer going to 21, voting should go to 21. Hell, I could make a fucking argument that you should be 30 before you're allowed to vote. But that's a whole different conversation. My point to all of this is, I hate the sliding scale of legality. How it's okay for this thing to do when you're young, but if you're wanting to do this, you have to be older. Fuck right off with that. And this whole 21 to smoke, who cares? Who truly cares? It's all nanny state bullshit. The government's all up our ass for everything. And it's Democrats and Republicans. They're both up our ass about various things. That it's one thing or another. And it's whatever their chosen topic is. Democrats want to restrict our right to this. Republicans want to restrict our right to that because they don't believe in that. And it's all bullshit. They're two sides of the same coin. They are the same. They are the same. But they're not. And that's what causes the division. And until we get to the point that we can all acknowledge that they're the same, and maybe, just maybe, we need some logical thinking people, we're going to continue to have all the same bullshit that we've got all over the place. Nothing's getting fixed. I have friends that don't like Trump, and they're telling me we need to vote in these people. And I have friends that don't like the liberals, and we need to continue, we need to vote for the conservatives, and blah, blah, blah. Nothing's fucking fixed. It's all the same. Both parties, everybody's driving us off the cliff. So I don't care. I'm so over all of it. It's ridiculous. And anytime government gets involved, it gets fucked up. And so here we are with cigars, government's involved, and it gets fucked up. California is a mess. It is easily one of, it's probably the worst run state in the entire country. Illinois takes its cues from California, and 5 years after California does something, Illinois does it. Every once in a while, Illinois does something right. I talked about it the last time, the whole cap on cigar tax. They actually, you know what? I'll give them credit for that one. That one wasn't bad. We have our gas tax situation, which I think I think I ranted about this last time. But then there's New York. New York's fucked up, Every state, to some degree, is messed up with something. There's nowhere good, which all leads back to my COVID plan. I wanted to get a private island. How many of you remember me ranting about how I wanted to get my own private island? Nothing big. 5 acres. 5-acre island. Somewhere I could put a little house. Have a dock. Arrange for shipments from the United States to bring me supplies every other week. I wanted to declare sovereignty. Have my own nation. Be the island of Niconia. Nickenstein. Whatever the hell you want to call it. I wanted to go to the UN. I wanted to bang my flip-flop on the table and be like, the man from Niconia objects. I just wanted to cause shit. And I'm telling you, the private island situation is the answer. The more and more I go, the less and less I want to. Sean, this is the birth of the curmudgeon, all right? There you go. Sean Baudry accused me of being a curmudgeon with one of my drive time reviews, one of the more recent ones, because I was slightly critical of a cigar. But he said, you're becoming a curmudgeon like your dad. And it's like, no, it's there. That was not curmudgeonly. This is curmudgeonly. I don't want to be around people. But yeah, James, it sucks. Now, the track and trace, in all fairness, I did. My dad swung through this weekend. There was an IndyCar race at the track near me, and I wasn't able to go with my dad and my uncle because I had my son. But he came through town, and we spent a little bit of time. And he's dealt with track and trace from the medical products industry. And he made some valid points about track and trace and it being a safety issue. And I can understand that. Let's say somebody decides that they're going to inject kerosene into a batch of cigars. It would be nice to have the track and trace to where you could say, okay, these are the different places those cigars have been. Who at what point could something have happened that a person injected kerosene into these cigars? Maybe they could trace back, or maybe there's a bad batch of cigars. Maybe there's some that start sprouting beetles, and the retailer wants to let the manufacturer know, hey, your freezing method is not working well, and so they can track it back and say, hey, all the cigars in this batch you might want to watch, that kind of thing. There are some positives. The problem is that while everything is going to be couched under the guise of safety and whatever else, and I'm not dismissing that it's not there. I mean, it's present. But with all things with the government, it all comes down to money. And they're going to want money. And, it's bullshit. They get enough of our money. Too much of our money. You're talking about California in this list. It's not just money. I think they made some changes, but originally, for every SKU, you had to send a full package of cigars to showcase. So let's say you had a Robusto, a Toro, and a Gordo of a blend. Let's just say, you were going to do, James cigar. And James, you had a Robusto, a Toro, and a Gordo. Well, that's 3 SKUs that you had to register. So now you're looking at, possibly as much as $3,000 right there. But on top of that registration fee and the application, everything to do that, you also had to send. This was originally, I think they pulled it back. You also had to send full boxes sealed of every SKU. So that meant you're now sending a full box of Robustos, a full box of Toros, and a full box of Gordos to the California Attorney General's office for review. They had to look at your packaging. If you did humidibags, little 5-pack, sampler humidipacks, you'd send that in. Any product, any SKU that you had to send to them. And I was joking with, I was talking with a rep, and we were talking about this. And I was joking with him, and I'm saying, well, fuck. California Attorney General is going to have a humidor like nobody's ever seen before. It's going to be a warehouse because they're going to have one of every SKU of every company that decides to do this. I mean, it's going to be insane. Now, I do think they pulled it back. I don't think they ended up requesting. I think they allowed for maybe empty boxes to be sent, or I don't think they ended up doing what I described. But that was the original plan. Originally, they were going to do that. So there was going to be one hell of a herf at the California Capitol once all those got processed and submitted. But yeah, some bullshit. So I don't know. You know, I'm over it. I'm just over it. I'm tired. You know, we're in wars that don't fucking matter. My gas is out of control for the car, not my personal gas. Although every once in a while I get these burps. But, you know, whatever. Groceries. Shit, man. I went to the grocery store today. I bought some basic shit that I needed to make a few things here at the house. Nothing big. Just kind of like looking ahead to the week, prepping a little bit. There's $50 without even thinking. Without even thinking, it was $50. You know, I got notice from my electric company that my kilowatt hour or kilowatt rate or whatever the hell for the summer has jumped significantly. My property taxes for this house went up. They more than doubled. My property taxes went from under $1,000 for the year to now over $2,000 for the year. I mean, for fuck's sake. I'm not realizing any increase. If my property value has increased, I am not realizing that gain until I sell the house. So why the fuck should I have to pay the increase in taxes on money I haven't realized? It's ridiculous. Oh, your property's up, so now you got to pay more for that property. Fuck you. The school. The rate for the school went up over double for the school. And the best part is that isn't even the new rate based upon the referendum that they had on the ballot in April to sell bonds to build a new school. So that'll be next tax year. So this time next year, I'll be bitching about that. And I'm fine with education. I don't think, look, that was my school. That was my grade school. And it's the exact same buildings that I went to forever ago. So they're old. I admit that. But, there's poor management. I won't bore you with why it's poor management at that school district, but suffice to say, for at least 3 years, the superintendent was applying for absolutely no grants. No grants at all. They were running completely off of money brought in from property taxes. And in order for a school to fucking do anything these days in Illinois, you have to look for revenue in as many different places as possible, not just property taxes. You have to be applying for grants to be paying for shit. And yes, that's tax dollars, and I get it. It's all whatever. It's coming from this, that, and the other. But it's ridiculous. And I'm just tired. And everything costs so much. And at any given point, it just feels like everybody's got their hand out and there's nothing left to give. And I'm tired. And I've done another freaking political rant. This is 2 Ask the Pulpits in a row. No, 2 episodes. I'm sorry, not Ask the Pulpits, 2 episodes. Because I got on a rant in the track and trace. And now I'm getting on a rant again. But anyway, all right. That's enough of that. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I'm tired of everything. I'm tired of it all. I just want to sit. I just want to have my cigar. And I want everybody to be able to sit and have a cigar. I don't want anybody to be told no. It's a perfectly legal product. The science is on our side. The cigars are fine. Nobody's stopping all these weed expansions all over the place. And look, I personally don't give a shit about the weed. Because the way I look at it, quite frankly, I don't smoke it. It doesn't impact me. If somebody out there wants to get freaking loopy on whatever Pineapple Express they buy at the dispensary, good for them. Good for them. It's at least a legal product at the state level. I still question how in the hell that's not becoming a thing at the federal level, but whatever. Anyway, I don't care. But I don't like the double standards. I don't like that we're not cracking down on one, but we're just completely just putting the screws to tobacco. Where's the generational ban on weed? Oh no, we're opening that up. But tobacco, we're going to say, no, you can't do that. Fuck off. It makes no sense. Why are we opening up weed? And hell, we're even studying mushrooms and all these other freaking drugs. Why are we opening up literally different classifications of drugs, mind-altering substances, and yet a cigar, which there is FDA. It's not even like cigar industry. Some of it is cigar industry, but there's literally FDA studies that talk about how there's no negative impact. And yet this is the thing they come after. Come after cigarettes. I don't really even want them to do that. I don't smoke cigarettes. And quite frankly, nobody smokes in public that much anymore to where you're like dealing with cigarettes. It's not like back in the day when you were in a restaurant and they had the smoking section and the non-smoking section, and they just expected the smoke to just stop at the halfway point and not cross over. I mean, let's be real, that was ignorant. Same thing with smoking in planes, non-smoking, whatever. It's dumb. But we're not doing that anymore. And that's a whole nother discussion. But we're not doing that anymore. So it's not like that's even a problem. So it all comes down to everybody just needs to stay the hell out of everybody else's business and quit nanny stating everybody. Ugh. Fuck. All right, guys. That would be this edition of Ask the Pulpit. You can give me a call on the hotline at area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000. Add it to your cell phone and save it so that you can just call me at random, on a whim. That way you don't have to know the number. But remember, 863-874-0000. All right. I'm enjoying my Henry Clay Warhawk Rebellious. I'm enjoying the right to have it. I'm old enough that at this point, any generational ban is not going to impact me. But I think it's really shitty for it to impact anybody. And that's neither here nor there. Let's do this. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarillo manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. All right, guys. So, what have I been entertained by lately? Well, I told you I had my son for an extended weekend. Probably one of many over this summer, so I really need to get my shit together and get caught up. But I will pre-warn you now that there is the possibility that there may come a day that I just put out a post on the socials and say, yeah, episode's delayed, or we're just going to skip a Tuesday, or we're going to skip a Friday, because sometimes it can just be a lot. So fair warning, I'm going to try, but over the summer, until we get to mid to slightly later August, when school begins to start, it may be, it could happen in a moment's notice. But what was I entertained by this weekend? Well, the only bit of TV that I watched for myself was I did watch wrestling Saturday night after my son went to bed. And I won't bore you with that. But what else did I do this weekend? My son, he has he has a giant box of crayons in there. So we were coloring this weekend. And I found a few videos online for different ways that you can do cool stuff with crayons. One of which involves chapstick. You color with the crayon and try to get as much wax as you can, onto the paper, and then you do a very light layer of chapstick on the wax, and you get like a Q-tip, and just kind of do that, and it blends. You can blend the colors. And it creates all this wonderful shading effect and everything like that. And so, like, I'm not gonna lie, I've been very entertained with crayons. It's a whole medium that I played with when I was a kid, but I've never played with as an adult when I could really respect the medium. And truthfully, it's very similar to a pastel. It's just less chalky. It's more waxy. And so I'm like, this is kind of fun. I like this. And I'll tell you, guys, there's something to be said for the adult coloring. It's so relaxing to the mind to just color. You could, whatever. Now, my son, he's a very aggressive color. Very abstract with his coloring. All over the place. A lot of colors everywhere. And it can be very abstract. It's wonderful. I have one of his pieces framed in my hallway. A big piece framed in my hallway. And it's just a wonderful, abstract, just color explosion. So if you're expecting him to color within the lines, that's likely not to happen. But that's okay. Because life's fun when we don't color in the lines. So I had fun coloring. Another thing that we did this weekend is he has reignited his interest in Hot Wheels. When my kid was little, 1.5, maybe. It was a little guy. I don't know why. They were cheap, whatever. I got him some Hot Wheels. And he loved the Hot Wheels. He would take the Hot Wheels, and he had a little bucket of them. And he would just pick them up one by one and just study it. Look at it. Put it down over here. Another pile. Pick up the next one. Study it. Put it down over here. And he would do that until all of them were out of the bucket. And then he had this pile over here. And then what would he do? He'd pick one up, look at it, put it back at the bucket. And it would just do that. Just kind of analyze the Hot Wheels. Eventually, we got to the point that we were color coding the Hot Wheels. We were putting them in piles based upon the colors and that sort of thing. And so I've continued to buy this kid Hot Wheels. Now, there was a period of time he didn't give a shit about the Hot Wheels. I would give him a new Hot Wheel, and he'd be like, whatever. Didn't care. Randomly, what weekend was it? Oh, it was the weekend I had him for his birthday. So it would have been mid-May. He and I were at Target. And, I got him for his birthday. So, of course, we go back to the toy department. And he knows I'm a sucker. I'm a nerd. So, of course, I'm going to be like, toys, whatever. But also, it's his birthday, Now, I'm not Mr. Moneybags. So I can't buy him, like, anything. But he finds this Matchbox playset of a car wash. And he's squatting down, looking at it on the shelf. And he grabs it and picks it up and kind of holds it up at me. And he goes, car wash. And guys, you don't know my son. So you don't know how big of a deal that is. But it's a big fucking deal. Because he very clearly said the words car wash, and he knew specifically that this was a car wash. So, he read the box, maybe. Maybe he somehow, whatever. I don't know. He knew the car wash. And at that point, I was like, you like the car wash? Yeah. You want me to get the car wash? Yeah. $42 for this car wash. And I'm like, all right, fine. I'll get the car wash. And I'm asking him the whole time. I'm like, are you sure you never play with your Hot Wheels? You want the car wash? Yeah. So I get the car wash. I bring the car wash home and I assemble the car wash. Hardest part about that was putting the damn stickers on the car wash. Once you got the stickers on the different pieces, then it was snapped together, this and that, whatever. And so I get the car wash. And lo and behold, that little rat goes running to his room, grabs this thing of Hot Wheels, comes running out, and he's just playing with the Hot Wheels left and right, running them through the car wash, putting them down the ramp, running them through the car wash. And I'm like, son of a bitch, he's back in the Hot Wheels. So we played with Hot Wheels. We, at one point this weekend, had to go to the store. So, of course, we go to toys, Hot Wheel display. I'm like, you see any cars you want? And, he picked out a couple. And then, of course, he sees some $44 F1 set that launches the F1 cars, and it's like track and all this and everything. And I'm like, man, let's hold off on that. Let's hold off on that. It's like, we don't need another $40-something set right away. We're past birthday and daddy's poor again. But no, so we got some more cars and we played with the car wash, and that was fun. Legos. This kid is big into Legos now. Now, granted, we're not assembling like sets. We're not doing things where it's like, oh, we're taking these and we're building X. We're taking them and we're snapping them together and we're making towers. Just making towers. Now, could it be like a cityscape, different whatever? Maybe, but I think he's just liking attaching them and whatever, and that's fine. We will gradually get into building. Hey, let's build a house. Hey, let's build, whatever, and we'll make things as we go. But for right now, we're playing with Legos, and that's great. I'm having fun. The other thing we did this weekend that entertained me is we went up to the splash pad. I don't have a pool. The city I'm in, they've got a rec center that has a pool. Technically, I think you can buy a day pass, but they have lessons and various things that you have to you got to work around. So I don't I haven't messed with it. But the neighboring town has a splash pad, which, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically like a water park without a pool. It's a concrete, kind of slab or pad, maybe about the size of like a basketball court and a half, maybe 2 basketball courts, and they've got all these fountains that are just spitting out water all over the place. This one has like this big bucket, giant bucket, up on like, a tower, and the bucket fills with water, and over time as it fills, it tips forward until finally it's so full that it dumps all the water. And so all these kids, they stand in the splash zone, and so they're waiting, and so and these kids, they don't understand the timing of this damn thing, so they're down there counting down 3, 2, 1, and inevitably it doesn't splash at 1. So then they start counting down from another random number, and they just keep trying to get the timing just right to where they're counting down, and it splashes them right after they say 1. And I've been taking Max there for 3 years now. This is the 3rd year that I've taken him to that specific place. And I distinctly remember the first time we went, all he wanted to do was sit and get wet they have these little mushrooms. And they're for the toddlers. They're little. They're short. The water pressure on those is very minimal. He wasn't interested in getting, soaked from the other stuff. Last year, he was fascinated by it. Don't get me wrong. He would go up and he would watch, but he was never going to get splashed. Last year, he got a little braver, getting into some of the bigger stuff. Still got close to the bucket, caught some water, as it splashed, but never a direct shot. Man, this time though, first time we're there this season, kid goes running out of the car when we get there. And he's getting wet. Well, next thing you know, I'm sitting on the bench watching. And I'm looking for him. I'm like, where did he go? He's sitting in the dead center of the splash zone with like 5 other kids just waiting for this bucket. And the bucket hits and he gets soaked. And that happened like 4 or 5 times. He's all in on it. No care in the world. And I was thrilled. We spent about an hour there. He got sufficiently soaked. He had a good time. And it was nice because it was hot out. So it was a good way for him to cool down. And, even though it was hot out, it wasn't humid. And there was a nice breeze. So, I was pleasant. Wish I could have smoked, but, no, I'm not going to be that guy. Even though it was a park. I'm not going to be that guy. But, yeah, it was nice. It was a good weekend. I enjoyed myself. Like I said, it was a fun time. And that's what I did to entertain myself this weekend is we had fun playing and doing stuff and, trying to, not just bury our face into TV and, the internet. And we got out and did a few things. So yeah, that's that. All right. Well, what else do we have? Oh, it's that time. It's Tuesday. It's that time. It's time for another lemonade review. Now, I do not have a fancy drop yet. I also have not had the time to go back over the calls to pull together all the data for a Lemonade-O-Meter. So we're still doing this in the unofficial capacity. But I do have a new lemonade. Now, I could review the Two Guys Cigars lemonade. But I want that one to be the first one on the official Lemonade-O-Meter. And since I don't have that pulled together yet, I'm doing another one in the old style. So I'm doing another lemonade. This is a nationally known, probably internationally known lemonade. This is one that you will be able to find anywhere. You will not have a problem finding this. Today, we will be reviewing the classic lemonade from Tropicana. This bottle is very sweaty because it has been sitting out here for over an hour now as I ramble on about the government. Tropicana lemonade, made with real lemons and cane sugar. Balanced sweetness of sweet and tart. Our perfect balance of sweet and tart. 13% juice. That is a high juice percentage for the lemonade. I don't think that's not bad. That is a good percentage for the lemonade here. Ingredients: water, cane sugar, lemon juice, lemon pulp, lemon juice concentrate, and natural flavor. So it's a very simple ingredient list in the grand scheme of life. It is water, it is sugar, it is lemon, and it is natural flavor. So we'll give this a shake. Oh, that is all sorts of wet. Yeah, it is sweating like a motherfucker. I definitely let this thing set out. But see, I don't want to get up in the middle of the recording to go to the fridge and get it and everything, So I want it sitting here. And so unfortunately, that means it does get a little warm, unless I move the lemonade review to the front of the show. But I don't want to do that. But anyway, bottoms up on the Tropicana lemonade. Well, that's just delightful. Right off the bat. They were right with the whole, ooh, there's the tart. It comes in on the back end. That's interesting. Yes, comes in on the back end. It is sweet. You get that little bit of tart on the back end. A little pulpy, slightly pulpy. But this is tasty stuff. It's smooth. No real bite. It's sweet. I dig the hell out of it. This is good. What is this similar to? Let me look at my list. I've done Milo's. Not quite similar to that. It's very similar to the Prairie Farms, which was a locally made one that I rated pretty highly. Simply, I feel like it's in the ballpark with Simply. Calypso Minute Maid Pink. It's way better than the stuff at PCA. It's better than Dole. Tractor Organic. That's the one I did at that I bought at Chipotle, and that's still the best one. The Motor Speedway, they ruined it. Used to be better. It's a mix now, and it used to be better. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you fucked up. The lemonade last year would have crushed it. The lemonade this year, mix, you pissed it away. Joe's Classic, a little bit more bite to it, if I recall. I think. Good, but a little bit more bite. Then there's Mr. Pure. I got this picture of Mr. Pure, by the way, guys, from I went to a fucking grocery store, and they had this shit on the shelf, and like literally 2 bottles of lemonade next to each other, totally different like hues of yellow. Like, what the fuck? It was totally different product in 2 bottles, labeled the same thing. It was very weird. Where would I put the Tropicana? Given the sweetness, given the little bit of tartness to balance it out, given the smoothness, given the higher juice content, I'll give it credit for that, and the simplicity of the ingredient list. Where would I put Tropicana? You know what? I'm putting Tropicana at a 9. It is up there with Prairie Farms, which also nailed a 9. It's Simply got an 8.5. I like it more than Simply, believe it or not. I would be curious to put them side by side to do a blind taste test to see if I could tell the difference, to say which was which. Although I'm not like, so familiar with either flavor to where I'd be like, oh, that's definitely the Simply. I mean, I could probably say, oh, well, that's one and that's the other. But I mean, that's kind of the whole point. It's like, you could always say, well, that's one and not the other. I mean, unless, somebody tricked me and put 2 glasses of Tropicana in front of me and said one was Simply and one was Tropicana, which is which. That could be an interesting thing, too. But, nope, I'm giving Tropicana a 9. Now, I will say, I did have 1 bottle of the 2 Guys lemonade. I'm parsing them out very slowly. And, again, I am waiting until I get the lemonade-o-meter put together so that I can, whatever. But to be honest, it all started with that, trying to find one similar to that. And so part of me is like, should I rate that? Or is that like the pinnacle that all these others are trying to reach? And so I don't know, but I'm going to. Dave sent them. It's going to get a rating. But I feel like it needs to be the first on the official Lemonade-O-meter. I will say, after having that 1 bottle, it's in my head. I can't get this question out. And I'm just going to pose it. I know Dave listens. I'm curious. You've relabeled, you've rebranded the lemonade. It used to be the La Giana lemonade, now it's the 2 Guys lemonade. Is it the same manufacturer, the same people making the lemonade for you? or did you source it from somewhere else? I only ask that because it is not quite as sweet as I remember. It's still very good. I remember it being slightly sweeter. Now, that could just be my poor memory, because in all fairness, again, I had it in 2022 and I had it in 2024. So it has been coming up 2 years since I last had this. And I mean, yeah, I drank a fairly good amount of it in the span of a couple days visiting your shops. But in the grand scheme of life, it's not like I was drinking it every day for 2 years, or something like that. I mean, so my memory could be faulty. I enjoy it. It's still very good. But I'm just curious if this is a situation kind of like with cigars. When they put a new band, maybe they do something to the marketing and they dress up the cigar in a different way. Don't touch the blend in any way, shape, or form. But if somebody, maybe it had a black band on it before, and now it's got a black and red. People are like, oh, they changed the blend. There's cinnamon to it or something like that. You've talked about that on the Cigar Authority, Dave, about how the changing of the band can sometimes influence the cigar consumer into thinking that the blend has changed. And so I guess I'm posing that same question for the lemonade. Did the lemonade change with the label, or is it the same lemonade just with a different label? I'm curious, because again, I do recall it being slightly sweeter. It's a very good balance of sweet and tart. But I do remember it being a little sweeter. Anyway, I'm just curious. Again, I'm not shitting on. I thoroughly enjoy it. And I will be giving it an official review next time. I think I could probably pull the lemonade-o-meter off between now and next Tuesday, because, yeah, I should have time, because I don't have my son this weekend. And as of right now, guys, looking at my calendar, I don't have anything going this weekend. The 12th, 13th, and 14th so far are wide open. So I'm happy about that. I might be able to actually get some things accomplished this weekend. So we're going to see. We're going to see if we can get the official lemonade-o-meter put together this weekend. Maybe get a little bump, a little sound effect thing for the lemonade. I think that'd be good. Really dress this up. Anyway, so yeah. So Tropicana, you got yourself a 9 on the lemonade-o-meter. So there we go. All right. Well, guys, it is that time where I tell you that I am available on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. I'm on Facebook, where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. It's a private group. You can request access. I'll let you in, and you can share what you're smoking, and you can start getting to know everybody and having a good time. I'm on Twitter/X. I really need to probably pay attention to that a little bit more. You can watch this on Rumble and YouTube. Rumble and YouTube is also where every Wednesday at 7 a.m. I put out a drive time review. And all that is just a short little cigar review where I'm driving in the car and smoking a cigar and reviewing it. And if you have a cigar that you think I ought to do that with, let me know. I'm always looking for suggestions. What else? Ask the Pulpit. Call the hotline. Obviously, this episode is a good example. I need your help. I need your calls. Call the hotline. Area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000. Or tofu pie with no E, 0000. And then Cigar Chronicle. I need to that's what I'm going to be working on this weekend, actually, is getting that out. But Cigar Chronicle, it's my newsletter. Head over to cigarpulpit.com. A little pop-up box comes up. Put in your email address in there. Sign up for that. And then you start getting it. And it's a lot of fun. But anyway, guys, I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking time out. I appreciate your calls. I appreciate your wackiness. It's always good. And the Zoom. Don't forget, we've got Zoom Herfs coming up later this month. June. It's a Thursday. It's June 25th. And Friday, June 26th. Those are coming up. I'm doing 2 of them in June. Only because I had that Thursday and that Friday available, and I wanted to give the Thursday people a Thursday because there was a number of people that voted for Thursday. But I also respect the fact that Thursday night, being a weeknight, maybe isn't the best time for some folks. And so that's why I wanted to make sure I threw in the Friday as well for those people who just had to wait for the weekend. So Thursday, June 25th, Friday, June 26th, we will be doing Zoom Herfs. Now, one thing I would like to point out about the Zoom Herfs is that this past time, the one that we did at the end of May that Dakota referenced, we had some unexpected guests. My dad joined in for a little while. Erica, my girlfriend, joined in for a little while. And Trey Mac from Aladino joined in for a little while. Now, am I going to guarantee that we're going to have special guests jumping in June? I can't guarantee anything, guys. But what I can tell you is I've blasted out some emails to a few people, told them about it, and said, hey, if you're free, come and join us. And the response was very positive. And so I guess what I'm saying is that you never know who's going to jump into one of these parishioner Zoom Herfs. You never know who might all of a sudden come up on the screen and you have the opportunity to ask questions of and get to know and hang out with. So, I only do I'm looking to do it on once a month. Not a big commitment, but if you're interested, you should try and get on one because there might be some really cool people that jump on and, give you an opportunity to chat with them and they can tell you about, their cigars or, the industry or whatever kind of stuff you want to hear about. So just saying it's an opportunity that you should take advantage of. So if you are interested in joining one of the parishioner Zoom Herfs, I will be, I don't think I've shared the login information on there on the socials in a while. However, it is the same from back in May. So if you find one of the posts from back promoting the May one, the login information is all the same. But if you are not on the socials and you would like the login information emailed to you, just simply email me at nick@cigarpulpit.com. That's NICK at cigarpulpit.com. And I will be happy to send you the login information so that you can save it and use it for future Zoom Herfs. Cars. Again, it doesn't change. Guys, once again, thank you so much for taking time out. I appreciate it. Thank you for your calls. You saved my ass again. I went on a bit of a rant, but, I'm tired and that happens. So, anyway, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. Everybody, stay safe. Stay smoking. Take care, guys.